So, final rounds for Capoch and Vinchester in this group. Right now, Vinchester at 6 wins. Vinchester's going to want more. If Vinchester gets more, he could be top 3, get into the playoffs, and potentially be the first repeat champion of Titans League. Titans League has had 3 seasons. We've had 3 different winners, guys. Vinchester was one of them. Vinchester's actually down here, sorry. And I'm excited to see if Vinchester can make it to the playoffs. In Capoch's case, Capoch needs a 3-0 here, or he is back down to gold. And Capoch is going for the Slavs, which has not been picked a lot at all this season, but should be pretty decent on this map. I mean, you tend to see a lot of farming, and you tend to see a lot of scouts. So Capoch choosing the fastest farming civ in the game makes sense. Vinch has gone for Mezzo again. So there's been 2 players that have gone for Mezzo on this map pretty consistently. There's Vinchester. Vinchester's, I think, done it 2 or 3 times now. There's also Barles, who I think did it 2 or 3 times. The only other player I can think of that went for Mezzo, and I want him to give me credit here for remembering this, is Hart. Now, Hart was just in my chat 5 minutes ago. I don't know if he's still here, but I believe Hart played Incas at some point. But beyond that, no one has been going for Mayans, Aztecs, or Incas. Maybe there was an ACCM game I remember. But what you tend to see on this map is you tend to see a whole lot of deer pushing through the middle. And Barles, at least, now this is like week 1, so maybe this is just bad. But what Barles did was he actually just camped the middle with his eagle, and the opponent could never push in any deer. Then he went for the drush. I don't think stopping the opponent from pushing deer is as important if they're not Chinese, though. Like, I think if you're up against Chinese, you really need to delay that. But Vinchester went for Mayans against ACCM in the previous round. Felt like he had a lead, and then he just couldn't win fights. Like, I think he went eagles and crossbows and just kept losing low numbers of eagles to 1 or 2 knights and 10 elite skirms. So I think he will at least look back at that and say that the formula was there to win, but he needed to be less sloppy with the fights. Now, Gold and Barry's both on the back here for Vinch, so that's very nice for him. And that is actually the same for Capoch, so no real complaints on any forward resources as we build up towards Feudal. I think Slavs get awkward to play an Imp here. But if you can get a good boom rolling with the Slavs with 3 TCs, you can go crazy. And now MBL's in chat. MBL says, if Capoch wins 2-1, I'm through to the playoffs. Wait, does that confirm that you're in the playoffs, MBL? Regardless, like before you even play Dogao? I guess that might be true. Because if you're ahead of Vinch on the tiebreak with 7 wins. Ooh, I didn't think about that. All right. Yeah, that might be true. MBL right now is at 7 wins. Above him is ACCM and Tata, who are tied at 8, and Vinchester's at 6. MBL says that's what your website says. Can you imagine if my website was wrong, MBL? How pissed would you be at me? If, like, you thought you were safe and you completely trolled against Dogal? That would be bad. That would be really bad. I'm not saying we want that. But, yeah, I don't think... I don't think it's wrong. It should be correct. It makes a lot of sense. Vinchester's on the way up. Pre-workout Juice. Thank you for the Prime. What's up? Pre-workout Juice. What a name. First time here. Anyone here genuinely for the first time today? There are a couple people at the start of stream who said they've come in from the Extras channel, which I said it also at the start of stream. Extras channel has had 900k views over the last 30 days. That's ridiculous. So shout out to all the Extras viewers. X-Star says first time today. Nice, nice, nice. Puppy Saturation's new. Yep, perfect. Cool. Okay, Hidden Squid's new. And then a really long name I can't pronounce, which actually applies to 2 people, is also new. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. It's been tough to keep up with that, obviously, but it's amazing to have people still pouring in, man. I never thought that the community would still be growing at this stage. I kind of thought it would stagnate a bit. And maybe in some ways, technically, people would say it has. Since COVID, you know, during COVID, everyone was stuck inside. They had no choice but to be here. But appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you. Range is coming up for Vinch. It just feels like it's going to be defense from him. Vinch loves to play relaxed with Mayans in Feudal. He rarely plays aggressive. He just thinks, I've got the extra Vil. Let's play it nice and relaxed. Keep our army alive. And then in Castle Age is when he really starts to unload. But Capoch is the opposite, dude. Capoch is Mr. Chaos. Capoch won scouts on scouts on scouts. And that should be a free scout kill. So Vinchester will know what Capoch is going for. And Capoch should have a pretty easy time getting what he wants here. And what the Mayans could do is they could go for a drush of some kind, mix in some militia, spearmen. But no, Vinch is just making archers and eagles and sitting at home for now. Not interested in being aggressive whatsoever. I really feel like in this instance, it's doable to get horse color here. Like, you're not under a lot of pressure. Maybe he could still get it, but when you're slabs and you farm this quickly, I feel like with these resources, I'd really like to see Capoch get that. But he's concerned that he's going to need the army. And sometimes getting that upgrade could maybe delay the range and delay some skirmishers. And as we see another pause, Vinchester having a little bit of lag apparently there. Skirms are already on the way for Capoch, and he knows exactly what Vinch is bringing his way. So, 2 eagles, 2 archers. Kind of awkward to engage into, but if you have a couple skirms, should be fine to push it away. And Vinchester's just kept this barracks producing ever since it finished. Just producing eagles. I think the thinking is, because it takes so long to produce eagles, this is your safety net for skirms later on. Right? Like, a lot of people will go archers, and then they start to produce eagles when there's like 5 or 6 skirms. And then it's too late. So if you're always producing these eagles, then by the time the skirm numbers are at 5 or 6, you might have enough eagles in front. Vinchester just backs away. Drops the tower. It's kind of tough. If you're Capoch, you're thinking he's going to be aggressive, and then he goes back home, and you're like, where is he right now? Like, he might be extremely paranoid this army is on the way to his base. But it's not. Vinch is just falling back home. And the way Vinch plays it, too, this can still actually do tons of damage to you. So you'll get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, he's got nothing. Let's just go Castle Age. And then suddenly this army becomes very strong. Walls coming up here. And archers and eagles. And Capoch at least will get to see that. And Capoch is just the type of player who's going to love to make lots of army. He's not a player I really think has the fine balance with the numbers. He doesn't maximize the potential of the same 5 units over time. He just makes more. And you know what he's missing, guys? He is completely missing that Vinchester is counterattacking right now. This is the same thing that Vinch did versus ACCM. Their ACCM expected the sneak. And does anyone remember? It was actually just archers. And then he had a couple skirms to defend from it. Now there's eagles, too. Capoch is not seeing the army, guys. What does he do? He might dive. He could run right past this TC to at least do damage himself. He could tower his wood line. That's the most exposed. He's walling up here. He doesn't know the army's headed this way. Armor for the scouts for Capoch. He's about to be through the house. Vinchester knows exactly where that wood line is. Oh, man. Capoch, you've got to know there's a counterattack. There's not a lot of army here. He's not showing the army at all. Capoch has no clue, guys. Capoch needs a 3-0 or he is relegated. And here come the eagles and here come the archers. And Capoch's woodline is going to be a complete disaster. Archers have fletching. 2 Vils down already. Over here, he did kill some archers at least. But his eco's a complete wreck. This is everything he had on wood. 3 Vils down now. And he's going to pretty much have to bring the army home. And not the start Capoch would have wanted. Just so sneaky from Vinch. There was a point in time where Capoch was advancing forward. And he was 2 or 3 tiles away from seeing that army moving to the left. Had he seen that, I think he could have dealt with this. But now Vinchester will aim to get away. He knows the scouts aren't at his base anymore. So they must be looping home. This eagle's also getting some good damage. And backs away, and now Vinch has to save what he can. Let's see how Vinch's micro is here. If his micro's on point, he could win the fight. It's going to be tricky, though. The scouts have armor. There's also skirms in the mix. There's just so much army there for Capoch, plus he has the mobility. I think ultimately Vinch is going to be fine as long as there's not a lot of army left over from Capoch to kill him. He's going to be happy with that. And so, yeah, he'll lose the fight. Eagles aren't cheap after all. But they do distract the scouts. These archers move over. And now this army here from Capoch probably isn't enough against the rest of the army here from Vinch. Vinch has more eagles. Vinch has more archers. But these archers will get killed off. Wow, really well played from Capoch. So Vinch sacrificed a lot of military control, a lot of numbers to get those Vil kills. And look at Capoch's resources here. How did Capoch lose 3 instead of like 8? I think it had to do with the fact that Vinch couldn't focus on the Vils because he had to defend himself at that time. Vinch about to click up to Castle Age himself. Still has to micro against these skirms. Loses an archer, kills a skirm. And Vinch should be on the way up to Castle Age here. And so should Capoch. This is where, and again, maybe he doesn't have the skirm numbers as fast, but this is where if he would have had Horse Collar, he would have like so much more wood, and it wouldn't be as painful that these farms are reseeding. Now, you can't get Horse Collar with every build. It's super easy for you guys to watch and be like, man, he doesn't have Horse Collar. Like, I see that a lot, and some builds, you just really require you to get the numbers out fast. But at least with what I was seeing here and what he was up against, it felt like maybe it was doable. Essentially, what that affects is you've got, especially with Slavs, because you're, reseeding farms so fast, you're not going to be able to go for the second TC very easily. Or Siege Workshop, or Elite Skirm, all of these things. I think he's just going to go pure Knights, though. He isn't producing any more skirms. These skirms are kind of out of position. And the cav upgrades are coming in for Capoch. Vinchester, just like he did when he played Mayans against ACCM in the previous rounds. Plays barely passive with a sneak. The scouts are going to get through. That's good from Capoch. Capoch could return the favor and get some kills here. Just feel like Capoch is going to have some work to do to defend his base, though. The fact that he can make knights soon is great. But Vinchester will have like 17 crossbows with a couple eagles. Capoch even goes for stable number 3 now. Archer gets sniped. Villager should get sniped as well. Just not seeing Vinchester be super sharp with some of these tiny moments. Like, this season he has been a little sloppy at times. I do wonder. I know, like, Vinchester has been kind of hopping around, traveling. And so when you are doing that, there has to be some type of a change in how sharp you can play at times. At least for me, if I even like, for some people, you even like change a mouse pad, it takes you 3 weeks. But Vinch has been doing that like for a year. He's been moving, so our base says Vinch is playing this on a suboptimal internet connection. Well, there's that aspect as well, right? It's like how good's your internet where you are. But Vinch was doing the same thing during Wandering Warriors Cup and played like an absolute god. So it only comes to my mind if he loses. And let's see. He's 2 TCs. He's got a big army here. Those are +2 knights from the Slavs. And the skirms are there from Capoch. And Capoch is going to clear this. It might not be the best value initially. But no, that's great. Saves the weak knights. Skirms are getting some good hits. Needs to save the weak ones. Oh, man. What a great job from Capoch. Let's go. Vinch will go for some Vil picks before this army goes down. Vinch will definitely have the villager lead. Because he's killed so many this game. But Capoch will keep the knights alive. And so he's still in this. But I think what he needs right now is he needs a siege workshop in the middle. Look at these knights. You've got 2 of them that collectively are at 18 HP. They'll get healed up. But guys, I'm not really seeing the prettiest balance here for Capoch. He probably needs more on gold. He definitely needs a siege workshop. He also needs the monk to heal up. It feels like as long as Vinchester can survive from the knights that are out right now, Vinchester's eco should be kicking in here. Vinchester will have monks. Vinchester also researching pikemen. Vinchester now walling this up. Yeah, Vinch will be fine. It's just that slow cook with the Mayans. They don't really hit you fast, but if they last, or sorry, you know, if they keep their vills alive, they just slowly pull ahead of you. I think that's why these days, like, Mayans aren't as dangerous, because a lot of the times it's about the timings, now more than ever. And in the past, people weren't as able to find the kill timings as fast. So a lot more games were like this. A lot of counterattacking and a lot of booming. But mine should still be feared, man. 2 TCs for Vinch. Ballistics on the way. Does get a conversion there. And a couple eagles go this way to kill the monk that's healing. And the monk gets killed. And the knight does not. 2 TCs now for Capoch. Does anyone here miss obsidian arrows? Like, it was a crazy tech. But I feel like you think of when they removed it, and then what they've added since. It feels like obsidian arrows just didn't fit in with the time, but would potentially fit in with now. With the balance now, right? Like, the game's been power crept so hard. They've added so many crazy things. I feel like obsidian arrows was just like, I don't know. I don't think they should necessarily bring it back. I'm not advocating for that. I was just kind of curious. It was absolutely insane, especially when stacked with team bonuses. It was pretty crazy. I think Vinchester's position is really good. Capoch wanted a TC in the middle, had to back up with that because of the amount of crossbowmen. There's 30 crossbowmen for Vinch. He has 2 relics. He is going to get this 3rd TC down, most likely. I almost feel like it might make more sense for Vinch. Like, obviously, this is seen as a safe TC. But maybe it makes sense for Vinch to build the 3rd TC in the middle. It gives you more vision, and then you don't have to worry about this being raided. Capoch going up to 4 TCs now. On T90, I think this should add auto micro on my onagers, so all my shots hit. Well, your shots do hit. They're just hitting your own units. Is that what you meant? Yeah. I watched like a Loela Legends player. I was looking for someone to raid one day, and I just pulled up someone's stream to go raid them, and the person immediately just nuked 15 of their own units with onagers. And I was like, let's not raid that poor guy. I don't think he needs 3,000 people seeing that. The Capoch is trying to get his eco up and running now. He's not fighting for the middle map control at all. But 4 TCs with the Slavs. Finch was able to get 3 of the 5 relics. Capoch should be able to get 2, though. The other one's underneath the TC. And Capoch is pretty heavy on stone. But that is a big army from Vinch, dude. It's going to be like 40 crossbows, 15 pikes. Capoch has 9 knights and 1 mangonel. He can't engage against that. Eco count is similar, though. And Vinch isn't exactly pushing with the army, either. Vinch will now build TC number 4. Do you remember when the Loey the Legend used his whole army to attack the wall and ended up killing all of his own units? Oh my god, that was so funny. I think that player killed 200 of his own units that game. He would select, like, imagine it was this army, right? He would select it all, and then there was an enemy wall, and he would just click the wall. And then all of his infantry would attack the wall, and the onagers would attack the wall, and he'd just kill everything. And he never once stopped doing that. Like, you kind of expect that someone's going to say, that seems like a problem. Let's change that. Nope. Dude, there's no way Capoch gets that castle up. Right? Vinch just sees the Vil. But now Vinch is like, how did you get here? How did you get here? I would have seen you come through the middle. He's looking. He's looking. He's looking. There it is. There it is. Oh, God. Capoch, this could be bad, dude. You got to kill. You just got to fight, right? Well, you could delay. Okay. Patience. That's going up. That's sick. This castle's massive. The fact that he got this castle up has got to be so annoying for Vinch. That castle should have never gone up. Vinch clicks up to Imp, knows he needs to take care of that, and will build his own castle. Yeah, earlier today, a viewer said that someone had a worse wood situation because their wood line was kind of narrow like that. And my response was, it can actually help you because the faster you cut to the middle, the faster you can sneak through like that. So it obviously depends. Like, if you're up against crossbowmen, you might want a thicker wood line. But it's pretty cool that Capoch was able to get through there. I think that gives him a chance, at least. Nice Mangonel shot. But in the end, it'll be a 1-to-1 trade. I think he loses this to the pikeman now. But, like, what are you supposed to do to stop this much army? There's nothing. Capoch about to drop another castle because he was concerned. Vinch will know that Capoch has nothing if that's the castle you're placing. Kind of a scary area to run through here, Vinchester. There's going to be a Mangonel producing from the other side. You don't necessarily know what you're running into here. Here he goes. If only Capoch could wall right there. There's a castle. There's a TC. Vinch is going in. Is this the right play to go back here? I don't know. But it's certainly making Capoch work hard here. Vinch's army will probably never be able to get back to the middle now. In the middle, though, he does have pikes. He does have monks, but he's missing this. And Capoch is going to get through. Capoch can slaughter that eco. And this army getting hit by the TC, getting hit by the Mangonel. There's some idle time for Capoch, but credit to Capoch. He stayed alive, and Capoch is feasting. Does Capoch actually have a chance? What is happening? Capoch. Well, he'll lose his units now. But he's able to find some damage, at least. Vinch has this castle producing trebs. Capoch can't do that yet. Capoch is going to rely on bowyars. And a big shot, well, ish, lands, but not enough. I think this is worth it. I know it looks kind of weird that Vinchester went in here, but think of the damage he's doing. There's so many idols. There's like 30 idols for Capoch, and Vinch still has an army to protect the trebs. It's completely fine. The main thing he needs is pikemen and monks anyways against bowyars. The crossbows don't necessarily help you protect all that much. Capoch can't lose this castle. If he loses this castle, he's dead. He has to stop this. Also, he can't lose a single game or he's relegated. And so he needs victories. He will know that. He will dive. He'll take the monks. He'll take the treb, but at what cost? All the bowyars have to go down. And Vinchester, who's just been so relaxed about this, such a slow, calm build-up this whole game, has got to be feeling really good about the situation. There is also a random villager from Vinchester sneaking through to maybe build some outposts in the enemy eco. Yeah, Capoch doesn't have enough to protect. He doesn't know what army to make. I think a lot of this just comes down to that early Castle Age situation for Vinchester. He had a 15 villager lead, and he just held the middle of the map with that villager lead. Capoch, he never really had a push going. He never had siege or anything early castle. And when he fell back to 4 TCs, it felt like it was maybe too little too late. Look at the damage. Vinchester's killed 45 villagers. These crossbows have totally been worth it back here. These crossbows have killed 29 of them. And a monk. Bowyars will be here now. I'm sure they'll get the clear up. But Vinchester still treb pushing, still has Halbs in the middle. And look at the gold he's banking as well. I mean, he could make so many more trebs. So many more Arbalest. He actually just bought food and wood which is interesting. And Vinchester's going to dive. Using the Boyars he converted and the Halbs, he'll go for the Trebs. And it just engage against the Boyars first. Capoch just has this castle in the middle. This is where the stone and gold is. This is where he needs to be. And his Trebs are going to go down to the Halbs. He does take out one of Vinchester's Trebs, but he'll lose his own. And this does not make things any better for him. Also, sneaky plumes. Classic Vinchester. Just can't help himself. Sneaking some units into the opponent eco on the other side. And that'll do damage. Capoch can't keep up with that either. The economy for Slavs is insane. But the army is maybe a little one-dimensional, right? It was clear after Vinchester got the Vil picks that Capoch was going to be on mainly Knights. He used the archers, but then he played into Halbs. Super smooth play from Vinch. I'd like to see Vinch just get more villagers to stone. That's the only thing. The only way he loses this game is if he doesn't get more vills to stone. A couple more vills on stone, and then he has a castle in the face of Capoch, or maybe just in this area where Capoch just lost this. But the sets that we saw today were in other groups, so they wouldn't have had any effect on this. Capoch 100% knows he loses one game, he is relegated, and he does not want to accept it. And Vinchester, he will know that MBL is ahead of him, and so is Tato and ACCM. So as things stand, Vinchester's not going playoffs. Needs to get every win here. Boyars are not elite. They do have full armor and full attack. But that's so much army, dude. The plumes are there. The plumes will help. The Halbs are here. I mean, it's all desperation. And Capoch will snipe the Trebs, but again, at what cost, man? Vinchester just has had so much military this game. And Capoch, maybe he's going to consider Elite Boyar now. Maybe Onager. I think he's going to try Onager. Dropping a castle over here. He just lost his TC to that Treb. 0 army for Capoch, and he refuses to quit, guys. He knows. He's like, I refuse to be relegated. Oh, pain. Obviously, even if he does lose this game, we still see all the other games. There's still $40 per win. So it's not like we just stop here. But from Capoch's perspective, he knows he needed all 3. Like, yeah, I suppose in theory, Heavy Scorpion can work. But you need time and you need resources. And I don't think you're going to have time. And I don't think you're going to have the resources. Vinchester could go Onager. Vinchester could do... He could make his own Scorpions, actually. No real crazy bonuses, but I think Mayans have Heavy Scorpion themselves. So finding the Vil picks here, Vinchester, and there's Capoch. Just balancing out the market to go for Heavy Scorpions. So Eagles are infantry, so the Scorpions should still be pretty good against them. But Mayan Eagles are a different story. 100 HP is no joke. And you can just avoid the Scorpions and kill Eco at this point. Capoch doing his best ACCM impression right now. Still thinking there's a chance, and here come the Heavy Scorpions. What a comeback it would be. Should I say that I'll gift 500 subs if Capoch wins this game? Man, that's such a big number. Yeah, sure. Sure. I get so nervous when I say yes to that. Sure. Yeah, all right. Vinch, help me out, bro. Why am I worried now? Why are there suddenly so many Capoch fans? It was crazy. I mean, Capoch will have 20 Scorpions. There's that. He does have access to every resource except stone. But every Scorpion he loses is so difficult to replenish. And the Trebs are actually just sniping the Scorps. That's actually an epic move from Vinch. El Dorado is in. 100 HP on these Eagles. And now Siege Engineers for Capoch. And he calls the GG. Yeah, I don't know why I got nervous. Vinchester gets the job done. What a great game from Vinch. I mean, I think for Capoch, the moment where things really were unfortunate for him was when the counterattack came in. Now, I think at this point it had already happened, but I want to go back to that. So, Vinch is just so sneaky. I've seen him do this so many times. He initially shows up with something, you're expecting a follow-up, and then you don't see it, and then you're just left thinking that he's going to play defensive. And so, right here, right, like, Vinch is moving out right here, and Capoch misses him. And, like, missing that changes the entire game. If he sees that army, he probably kills that army. He never loses the vills. His eco is really smooth, and things are fine. But because he doesn't see that, and because he thinks that Vinchester's just playing defensive, because of how Vinchester set up his base, he just gets completely caught out. Now, maybe at a certain point there, maybe you've got to look at that and recognize, like, he's really not showing me army. Like, right now, you've got to realize that army is going to be showing up. But then what do? You don't really have the military there. You're trying to do damage. You're too far across the map. So it's just really tough. And that's just props to Vinchester for playing it correctly. Just super smart play. And even though the food count wasn't there, just had so much of everything else. And just had so much military, man. So many units. His army high was 68. And Capoch's army high was 24. All right, so game number 2, we'll toss Vinchester in the red again, and we've got Capoch's favorite map. I think if you were to go through in Liquipedia right now, and you would look at the games played for Capoch and the wins, I think all of them are on cross. Like, sorry, not all of his wins. He won on other maps, but I mean, every time he played cross, I believe he has won. He has always loved this map, and Capoch plays this map to the fullest potential. He sends vills to every corner, tries to sneak villagers, get docks up. You'll very rarely see him do anything but that. Now, the thing that is kind of interesting about Capoch is he tends to do it with walls. So some people, like Sato, for example, Sato plays fully open, and then his vills running to every corner and is being super aggressive on land. He actually isn't usually that active on land. Capoch likes to wall up. That's going to be tough to do, but I'm sure he'll find a way to do that, to protect his gold and his wood, and then his food income's probably going to be on the pawns. I would expect Capoch to dock in the back, on the right side here. Just feels kind of natural because he's in the corner. And I would expect Vinchester to do the same, but that means they're likely to meet each other in the other pawns, right? Like, they're both similar distances to every pond. They're both slightly closer to the southern pond than the northern pond. I think that will play its role. I think we'll see the southern pond potentially decide the game. Both players have very exposed golds, actually. Again, walling is possible, but there's a lot you need to do on the map beyond that. Huns can't even house wall. So it's one of those bonuses that's really helpful on this map because there's lots of wood spend, because you could dock every pond and then fight for the lands in the middle too. But like, if you don't have army control on land, you can't quickly house wall yourself to protect yourself. It can get really dangerous. But Vinch, he will want more victories here. Vinch, live standings, is tied with MBL at 7 wins. If he wins another game, he's then tied with Tato and ACCM. And if he sweeps, he goes up above Tato and ACCM. But I still think it's impossible for Vinch to get first, because Tato and ACCM play each other, so there will always be a player ahead of him here. Yo, Nikov, thanks for the raid, man. Salutes in chat, please, for Nikov and his viewers. I don't speak great Spanish, but I know since Nikov is Argentinian, everyone probably wondering to see what will happen for Capoch. And obviously, happy birthday to Nikov, and congratulations on being safe. Nikov will be either second or third place in his group based on what we've seen so far today. I expect Sato and Nikov still to put up a really good fight, but no big worry for either of those two. I'm happy for Nikov. I was really concerned after the first 2 rounds that he was going to be playing amazing and still get relegated, so. Nikov says, I will pay Hera and Veleza some beers next LAN. Quite a lot of them. All right. You shouldn't have said that, man. You put that on the internet. You can't take that back now. I will, what about me? Hey, what up? Wait, hold on, Nikov. Bro, what about the host of the tournament? How many beers do I get? I just realized I've been scammed. It's all right. Nikov, I owe you some beers. It goes both ways. I get 0 beers? All right. Well, that's fine, I guess. So, deer pushing right now for Capoch, but active scouting from Vinchester. And Vinchester will find... The dock is up there for Capoch. And Capoch also knows he's been spotted. Does he notice that and fix the palisade walls? Nikov says, remove Zong from the map pool, and then you get beers. Come on. Well, how many beers? I'm not going to remove it from the map pool and face that controversy for 1 beer. Come on. Chat wouldn't be happy with that, but I mean, everyone's got a number. I guess it depends where we are as well. It depends on the type of beer. I mean, there's more details to this we need to talk about. Second lumber camp for Capoch. Now, does he know where that dock is right now? Does he have an understanding? He's looking. And I think he'll check this corner. I think he'll find it right away. Now, peek Capoch. He tries to wall. And he tries to Sneakaville right away. But I don't think he could realistically wall that easily on this map. Like, I guess long-term he can wall. Yeah, he wants to wall here, I guess. By the way, chat, this is a sheep. I know there will always be one person who's paying really close attention who's like, wow, what is that dot? That red sheep might be there forever. So just keep that in mind. And the scout there from Capoch is going to... Wow, he didn't scout the pond, which is crazy. You would have expected he'd do that. But he scouted late. Like, he doesn't actually know where his opponent is right now. Because of the late scouting. Vinch does know. And Vinch is scouting the shoreline. This is so funny, dude. Capoch is normally so quick to scout the water and then sneak vills. And look at Vinch. He's checking the sides with the fish. He's scouting. Like, he's expecting a sneak vill because it's Capoch. And Capoch is not going to do that at all. Dude, he's even making a fire galley defensively. Capoch's reputation is in Vinchester's brain right now. Look, he's still checking. This is so funny. That's amazing. If you're so good at a map that your opponent's this paranoid and honestly makes wrong decisions because of it, that's sick. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever to add a fire galley there, but it's not needed at all. Even Town Watch. Vinchester is so paranoid. He's like, where is he? Capoch never goes army. He always sneaks on water. Meanwhile, Capoch is sneaking to the southern area to dock. He's also sneaking to the north. And he is actually going scouts. That's super funny. So it could be triple pond domination for Capoch. And now Vinch runs forward and sees the scouts and is like, oh, wasn't expecting that. And now we'll see Vills on gold. Watch him get paranoid again and check this out. Watch him see the gold and be like, wait a second. Is he going to dock here? Is he checking with that fire galley right now? He is, isn't he? That's so funny, dude. That is so freaking funny. I love stuff like that. Yep, he saw the Vills on gold and is like, wait a second. He must be over here. Well, in the north, he did scout that, so well played from Vinch. Capoch doesn't know about that. And the spearman attack hasn't done too much. There's so much happening right now. But this will be quite a few scouts here from Capoch. And he knows it's going to be archers from Vinch and that it's scouts from Vinch because he saw some scouts out. And there's the fire galley scouting for Capoch in the south. Doesn't see anything, so he'll start to fish, I'm sure. So a lot to manage right now. But a lot that can go wrong. You are consistently one fight away from having this whole map fall apart. You miss one dock, you lose all your fish. You don't have enough army here, you lose all your vills. Capoch seems to sense the army is coming through and got awkward there. But he gets some house walls down, pulls a couple more vills. We'll have more scouts, we'll have his own archers, should be fine here. And in the north does find the dock. Capoch pulls away. Vinchester won't get through. And Vinchester got to be feeling pretty comfortable with how things have gone because he hasn't lost any fish against Capoch. He's going to remain competitive in the north, but what he's not doing is he's not fishing in the south, and that's something Capoch is doing. So again, this is what Capoch loves to do. He loves to be super active on the ponds. But you think of the Huns, like Huns don't really need the triple pond domination. They just need to get to Cav archers. So Vinch is probably feeling like things are fairly reasonable. Oh man, this is about to get wild though. Armor on the way for Capoch. I think we'll see bloodlines. And Vinch's setup is looking almost too good to be true to eventually click up the castle. I don't know. Yeah, he's going to produce more scouts, actually. Yeah, this is where knowing Capoch's reputation, too, is just like, Capoch will never just go up. Capoch will get upgrades. So you have to match him. Capoch doesn't necessarily know how much Vinch is going to make as well. He sees the double range. He doesn't see the additional scouts, and he obviously doesn't know about upgrades. And Capoch has armor already. He'll take the flight. Capoch has bloodlines on the way. I think that's a good fight for Vinch. And you're just worried there when you see the ranges coming up that the opponent's on the way up, so you force the fight. A slightly better micro there from Vinch. The archer micro is fantastic, and it's going to be mainly scouts now for Capoch. Vinchester also cleaned up the fishing ship in the north. I'll keep an eye on that. And then down here, he's not able to get a dock down. But that is a lot of archer production from Vinch. With the scout buffer, which is the important thing. If he didn't have the scouts, these fights would be so much more difficult. But with the scouts in front, and with the micro, it can be fine. And how are you supposed to also win in the north? This is so well played from Vinch. And Capoch already knows he's out, already knows he's relegated, and might just be completely overwhelmed. 9 seconds of TC idle time from Vinchester. Like, what? And also, what? Capoch makes it here? Where did she come from? Was that a villager that built this dock? Because I just saw a villager die. Well, that's what Vinchester was expecting. He just wasn't expecting it to happen at that time. And now the scouts for Capoch heading over towards Vinchester's base. I mean, Capoch isn't taking any damage economically. So counterattacking is amazing. Vinchester is not walled. Now these archers, they're kind of wondering where they can do anything. Capoch hasn't produced out of this yet. I don't even know if Vinch noticed it. There's too many other things to look at right now, but that's funny, man. I think this Vil built the dock in the north. And then that villager, a new villager just came up here to help out on this pond for Capoch. Man, Capoch has a lot of scouts, and Vinchester thinks he's going up to Castle Age. Vinch doesn't know how many scouts are back here. But look how weak they are! Look how weak they are! I didn't realize they were barely alive! Look at that! It's like the weakest army ever! And all the other scouts have to come home now. Vinchester is through. Great play from Vinchester to dive. He seems so much sharper in the attacks now. I think a lot of it, he just played game one that way because he was Mayans, but this is what Vinch is capable of, and Vinchester just pouncing, and oh, Capoch, he can't get close enough to an engagement, and Vinch is going to wedge himself into the wood line. He does get surrounded, though. And I think being surrounded, he will lose everything. It's 6-0 Eco KD. Capoch does clear it up. Capoch could still get the pond's domination. He's still remaining competitive in the north, but Vinchester's been so good there too. Like, multiple engagements he's still paying attention to. Look at the KD, guys. It's 29 kills versus 28. Sick. But Capoch isn't on the way to Castle Age, so he needs these scouts to do some damage. And damage they could find. I mean, this map's still wide open. There are spearmen around. I would like to see Vinch bring one archer to kill this repairville. You can't allow that villager to repair ships and repair the dock like that. I think that's really important. Capoch is on the way up. And Capoch should have an easy Vil kill here. And he can roam around this base pretty easily. Vinchester will have a lot of archers. But is archers enough to defend your eco? Look at Vinch's perspective. He's camping in the 2 open areas on the front. He has to be alert all the time here. And then still needs to respect this. It's a lot to worry about. 400 more resources for Vinchester. Capoch is making skirms now, which is sick with the Lithuanians. Skirms are also amazing against pikemen and amazing against crossbow. And the fire galleys pop out here from Capoch. He'll see Vinch is up. Vinch will go for war galley. Vinch did secure the northern pond. So he has that. But there's still like 7 or so fishing ships in the south that he could lose. And Capoch is just going to hide while he can. I think what I'm a little surprised by is that Capoch wasn't a little bit more active with those scouts to try and run past the TC into the wood line. He seems to want to keep his numbers alive and just transition to skirms, but I really feel like there was some potential. But every time he showed up, Vinchester had something, so he just didn't feel like he could do damage. Capoch's ships are going to be found. Nice defense there from Vinch. And now, again, Vinch is going to run underneath the TC. And Capoch is like, oh, no. He tries to gate. He can't gate. And the skirms are getting their upgrades now. Vinchester just loves diving underneath that TC. Remember, guys, on this map, you don't have as many vills around the TC. Like, you're doing other things. You're fishing. So you could do that. Was this worth it? I think you'll take it. I think you'll take it. He also found that weak vill from earlier. He looked at the HP on those vills. Killed one more. Still a pretty close game, though. Capoch could get into a woodline with these light cav. Can you imagine the damage that would do? And then there's elite skirms out in the field as well. Obviously, if Vinchester holds, which he could potentially do... Are you kidding me, Vinch? That's crazy. Quick walls that. And now he's got cav archers, spearmen, and TCs around to defend from this. Oh, man. Capoch was really hoping for damage. Vinchester just continues to hold. Villagers are going to move around those woodlines, though. Like, you have to really keep a close eye on things. But 15 CA for Vinchester now. And he'll add siege, knowing the skirms are a problem. And Capoch can't help himself. I don't know where the vill's coming from, but there's another dock foundation there. He cannot help himself. And he didn't give up on water. He's still coming back on water. He's also fish trapping with these fishing ships, too. Capoch is actually still in a sneaky good spot. His army comp is sick. Cav with full armor and skirms with full attack and armor is really good. And I expect this dock to never go up, but Vinchester just got pushed off of gold. Will Capoch have the patience to recognize that he could just hold this position? It feels like you need more damage, and what? Vinchester counterattacking with CA. He's got so many cav archers. He's got so many at home, and he counterattacks again. The other group is still at home, and Capoch, it's going to be tough to recover from. So sneaky from Vinch. Vinch did the same thing in the first game, right? It's like, he hits you with one army, you move forward to attack him, and then he counterattacks you when you least expect it. And here, Capoch will aim to get through. And, oh man, he can't even take down the palisade wall, so the Mangonel survives. Oh, and his fishing ships and fish traps went down. Oh, yikes. Well, I think Vinchester might have another one, guys. Again, game one, I was kind of like, Vinch is playing kind of slow. But he wasn't Huns. He was Mayans. And so now it's like, he's kind of flying, man. And it's Capoch. Oh, God. The Cav Archers are back again. More villager picks. The TC will go up, but yikes. Vinchester just won't give him a rest. And now the army from Capoch aims to go through, and Vinchester just always seems prepared. It's like right when Vinchester can defend with a small amount, He will calculate it and go forward, right? He's like, right now, he's like, okay, you don't pose enough of a threat to me with what you have, so I will go forward again. Hello. And it's true. I mean, with his reactions, he can defend with 5 CA and 1 Mangonel right now. That's not a problem. And should be way ahead in this game now. I think eventually you end this game by going Knights, because you have pretty good food eco now, and I see the stable, and I see the Knights, so makes sense. Vinchester looking good, man. Well, I know what the viewers want. Beyond their favorite players playing in the playoffs, you guys want some drama, right? You want an interesting situation. And this situation gets more interesting in this group now, with the way that Vinchester's stacking up these wins. Because if he wins this game and loses the next, he's still ahead of MBL by 1 and then tied with Tato and ACCM. Vinchester really needs a 3-0, though, to push for playoffs. We want 500 subs. Why are all my, like, 2, 3, and 4 year-long subs begging for me to give subs? You guys are subbed. Why you do that? I thought you guys had my back. Knights are not enough to clear all of this right away, but eventually probably will be. And 125 population for Vinch, just flying. And Capoch will fight. Just like the previous game, he will have known he needs wins. I mean, technically, he needed the 3-0 to survive, but it's still 40 bucks per win. And Capoch is a fighter, dude. Capoch is here because of his determination in his fight. And he's played really well this season. Just missed so many wins by 1 or 2 moments. And I think a 3-0 against Vinchester today was always going to be difficult. We just want to spam the dodge demo? Okay, that's fair. Swivel Hips says, I have your back, T90. Oh, thank you, Swivel Hips. Swivel Hips has my back. Knights on the way from Vinch. Score is really close considering the situation. I think we are 1 moment away from this game being completely over, though, and that's just when more Knights arrive to the field with these Cav Archers. Vinchester's got 2 stables, 2 ranges. Everything's producing, though. Look at the amount of villagers he has exposed. He knows he can't lose this game from here. Capoch just does not have the same eco at this point. Did end up winning this pond. Did end up having the TPD, right? The triple pond domination. But unfortunately, he lost everything else. Rodrigo, thanks for the 23 months. Thank you, Crassies, for the 89 months. That's crazy. Appreciate you. Thank you, Principal. Thank you, What the Jeff. Thank you, guys. Capoch falling back now. No. Obviously, from what we see, he needs to push. He needs to do damage. But there's a big enough army there where he will never win the fight. So, he knows he can't engage against that yet. And so he's really hoping to build up a big enough army to eventually be able to do that. That is a confident town center there from Vinchester. Can Capoch see that? Yeah, Capoch can see that. Just casually town centering the guy's gold. And, oh, man, big Mangonel shot there on the skirms. Another big Mangonel shot there on the skirms. And Mangonel will go down. But Vinchester just so far ahead here. Capoch wants to fight for the honor, wants to fight for the glory, wants to fight for the 40 bucks. Vinch just needs to finish the game with a castle. That's normally how this goes. If Vinch isn't going to completely overrun him, Vinchester just needs a castle on the front. Right on the face. That'll end the game. Noel bot, thank you for the 5 gifted. Unless you're an actual bot, then, you know, maybe... I don't know. I assume you're not. Appreciate it. Guys, I am running out of things to say. I apologize. I normally don't do that. But Capoch is unfortunately dead. Capoch is... Oh! Capoch is at a 80 pop against 170 right now. And Vinch is finally going to finish him off here. Rams are on the way. More knights on the way. And usually would expect some wood to be sold here to get some more gold. Buy some stone. Drop a castle on the face. Vinchester is booming right next to his base. And Capoch still fighting on here. Quick walls from Capoch, but the knights get in, and surely that is going to be the GG call. Vinchester will have 2 wins. So, I thought this game was so interesting because initially Vinchester expected so much more from Capoch. Like, he expected the sneak. He made a fire in his own pond before there was even a dock there. He was looking around. He clearly knew Capoch's potential, right? But then he had to adapt a little bit and realized that Capoch wasn't playing aggressively on the ponds right away, and he had to manage the land. I think the key moment for Vinchester was when he saw the amount of scouts that Capoch had out there, and then probably thought to himself, this is Capoch. He's going to go like bloodlines and armor, and I need to have a buffer for my archers. Because a lot of players will just go archers there. He kept producing more scouts himself. It took some really solid engagements. He then, of course, was competitive in the north, which was good. For a while, he had his fish in the south. I mean, by the time he lost his fish over here, I guess it's not the south, it's the west. But by the time he lost that, he was already way ahead with Vils. That was never really a significant loss. So Vinch was really active on the map. That's Capoch's best map, and now Capoch doesn't have the win. And we'll move to Vinchester's home map next, which is what? Oh, Shoals. Interesting. This one. But here we are, game 3. And so what I was just alluding to is that Vinchester has said in his mind, this is not a water map. Yes, there is water, but I'm not going to fight competitively for the water. I'm going to go for a civilization that is absolutely beastly in the late game. We've seen other players go for the Hindustanis, Imperial Camel, 9-range hand cannons, fully upgraded Hussars, Skirms. I mean, even good Cav archers. Hindustanis are sick. However, Italians are a good water civ, and Italians are also a really good late game civ. If Italians can get to Genoese crossbowmen, that can shut down the camels. So this is a really dangerous civ for Capoch to have on the other side. So I like the pick. Eventually, you've got to make a move for the golds on the sides. And we have seen some instances where people kind of delay that, and they go super heavy on the water to prioritize that. And other people don't even play for the water. So right now, I'm thinking Vinchester might actually go scouts. Like, you're Hindustanis. The opponent's going to try and wall up and win water as Italians. And with the Hindustani stable bonus, I think going scouts and archers in Feudal might actually be an option. Like, Vinch might do scout opening into, like, 2 galleys. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe 2 galleys into a scout opening into archers. Or maybe you just go, like, fast castle. I don't know. Is the water patch on the map bugged? Can they walk through it? Ah, you mean this? What do you guys think? Can you walk over that? It kind of looks like you might not be able to. I think if you pick up the relic, you can. I don't know if you could walk to the side of that. Either way, I wouldn't necessarily call a re because of that. I don't know. Someone says the gold one. I think you can get around here. I think you can get around here. Everything's fine. It seems fine. Yeah, only Jesus can walk over that. It's all good, dude. What's not so good are the gold spots for Capoch. And I've had this conversation a million times, right? The golds can oftentimes be in awkward positions in relation to the wood lines. So if you want this safe and easy water play where you can full wall and have a gold in the back, you're not going to have that if you're Capoch. Potentially a little bit more reason to fight aggressively for land if you're going to have your golds exposed. Definitely a bit of an easier position for Vinch, right? Because he's got like this gold super safe. But Vinchester also has less like space to move around and breathe, which is good if you're playing defensive. But as far as like farm space goes, it actually can be quite obnoxious to have all these wood lines in the back. Whereas Capoch has all this freedom to farm boom. Yeah, Dark has been incredible on this map. Now, I think after the way Dark has played this map, a lot of people started banning melee. The first couple weeks we saw melee, and then melee just got canceled out in every ban. No one wants melee to be a possibility. So I think we're seeing melee bans more. We're definitely seeing Chinese ban more. There were just a lot of sets where I was sitting there like, I don't think you should allow your opponent to play these civs. Not saying that, like, the people don't have skill, but there's just certain civs that just feel really smooth. And Vinch is up already. It's cheaper for the Italians to go up, and Vinch is up before them. And almost feels like Vinch is going to go water somewhat. I don't know if we have any mods to potentially do bets. Did we not do bets for this, mods? Maybe not. It's a Friday. You know, people are busy being productive. Maybe we missed one. I don't know. But I'm staring. Okay, we got some mods on mobile, some mods doing some other stuff. It's all good. I mean, I would say that we could still do it if the game is close. Well, actually, even if the game's not close and we set it up, if people want to bet, they have the information, I guess. There we go. There we go, chat. You peer pressured the mods. You can bet your points now. So Capoch is down 2 games. But look at this woodline and this gold and not necessarily love that. Vinchester scouted that gold, and I think it's important that he scouts this gold. But he's not going to. See, he's probably going to assume that his opponent might have a safe gold like this. Vinch, bro, I thought you were going to play lands and go like scouts. And he's going galleys. Okay. Well, later on, you could still go for the scouts. Lots of water. So, Vinch loves his 2-dot galleys. I remember he would go 2-dot galleys on Golden Swamp in some of the earlier seasons with, like, I think he played Gurjaras there. Would go fast Feudal galleys. Vikings a lot, too. If you're Capoch, though, you need to keep your fish safe underneath your sea tower before your own galleys come out. You cannot allow these fishing ships to go down. But I don't think he knew. I think just now he saw the second dock. And so now he's reacting to it. He pulls his fish back behind the tower. Vinch might be tempted to use the scout there, but the sea tower is pretty strong. You think the relic might block this? It might. Yeah, it might. I don't know. I didn't actually catch a glimpse of that scout when the scout tried to run through. Can't really tell from what I've seen. Obviously, it doesn't block the ships, but that relic might block land units. So, maybe we'll see another example of it, and then we can see what happens after the relic's picked up. But the scouting's super important here for Vinch. Just to know where those golds are. But he doesn't know about the other one. And he doesn't know this has been taken either, so he just... They're focused on the water. Water and transition. It blocked both scouts. Okay. All right, I'll take your word for it. That's a weird thing. I don't think we've seen that before. There's 7 relics on the map. There's always 1 in the middle, and then there's 6 around the outsides. But this is, I won't lie, quite honestly, the most boring opening that Shoals can provide. So Q&A time, chat. Q&A time. If in games where it's like one person goes fast castle water, another person goes fast feudal water, very interesting. In games where we have, both players go fast castle water, very interesting. In games where someone opens scouts, the other player mixes in fires, very interesting. But when it's galley v galley, they both just get into this position where it's like, well, I just have to make more galleys than the opponent. The main thing I'll say on that, let me just finish my thought actually, is Vinchester has stopped producing galleys, which I've been saying for weeks. I think in this type of scenario, now you don't want to lose your galleys like that. That's horrible. But I actually think using your wood for the other buildings and just getting to Castle Age is better because, like, let's face it, Capoch, will he benefit from having an additional 5 ships when he already has a lead of 5 or 6 as is? Probably not. Fishing ships, if anything, for Capoch could make a lot of sense. Nilly says T90 praising Galley v Galley fight for the last 10 years, and now we see it, and he says it's the most boring thing. Nilly? Stop taking my words out of context, okay? Listen, even though that's a fair point from Nilly, right? Galley v Galley is still 5 times more entertaining than Fire v Fire. Oh, pull a fire ship back and bop it a couple times with a Vilder repair. Still way more entertaining. It's just, the reason it bothers me so much on this map is because I think too many people are investing golds into water when they've already won the water and not prioritizing the land. That's kind of my point. And so almost like Vinchester heard me, he's going to go scouts now. And he's going to prioritize the boom. But I think what would have been good for Vinch there, if he kept his galleys alive, he at least could threaten the fish later on. Like, just camp them underneath the tower. Ooh, is my stream down right now? Uh-oh. Hold on. Are we good? Hello? I think I'm back. I think we're good. Refresh. Sorry, guys. Apparently, my internet provider is a big fan of galleys. But yeah, Vinchester's going to pull villagers along here, add in the scouts, and drop a second TC. Sorry, guys. Not sure what happened there. But Vinch isn't even going to make a single fire. I thought maybe he would make a couple fires, go for War Galley. Chose not to. He will be up. And Capoch is dock blocking over here. I don't know if that's an actual dock block, though. You might still be able to pass over there with some scouts. And Capoch is going to be mind blown to see his opponent's in Castle Age and that his opponent has scouts. Capoch, get the walls! Oh, man, that was some panicky stuff there for Capoch. Nervy moments. He could bring his galleys over here to shoot those scouts. No! Don't save him! No! No! Capoch! No! Oh, you stupid Vills. You stupid Vills. Now Vinch is going to nerd out here forever. Ay, ay, ay. Well, I mean, I think we've all been there, so I don't want to be too critical. But also, you can lock the gates before they're completed now, so that doesn't happen. So there is actually a way to avoid that in-game, which obviously didn't work out. And Capoch, he's already relegated, and now Vinchester has to do this to him. Oh my goodness, dude. I don't think... If you were to make a top 3 of players that you wouldn't want to have leftover 2 to 3 light cav in your base in these scenarios, Vinch is probably in the top 3, right? Like, I'm going Hera, Viper, Vinch, the 3 most annoying players to have units in your base like this. They're just gonna find a way to do damage, and they're gonna completely outboom you behind. They're so annoying. Capoch does have Loom. He's had Loom this whole time. It's just this is light cav. And 2 TCs. One of the TCs is on the gold for Vinch. And eventually this will be dealt with. But it's just avoidable damage. And another villager goes down. Now, this is pretty critical for Vinch, because Vinch doesn't have water control, right? And Vinch doesn't have fishing ships. So, right now, the eco count's pretty even after all that. Hindustani scouts can break through buildings pretty fast. Vinch is still nerding out with these units. And, oh, no! Make it stop, bro! Make it stop! I feel so bad for Capoch! Ah, this is brutal! Vinchester... just non-stop, and oh, it's gonna be, oh, there's gonna be more. Oh, pain. Vinch is like, this is Age of Empires, man. I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. Oh, God. More villagers exposed. More quick walls needed. Where are the spears? Bring the spear. There's the spears. Bring them over. Bring them over. Ay, 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 ay. Well... I'm a big fan of Daniel. Maybe a slight American bias in that, but I like the guy a lot. I have to agree with chat, though. Someone said Daniel would have resigned. Yeah, I would have resigned. If I was already relegated and this is happening to me, I would just be like, I don't have the fighting spirit, man. I would have quit. For sure. But Capoch, this game's going imp with Capoch. He's got more of a fighting spirit than most. And maybe he'll eventually kill these Lycav. We'll see. Now, there is a TC coming this way to head over to gold. And there's a scout there from Capoch to maybe find the outpost Vil from Vinch. Now, Vinch, he wants to know if there's a TC over there. He obviously knows about this side because he's over here. But he needs to know, is there a TC from Capoch over here? Lycav are still moving around, by the way. There goes the spearman. These spearmen. These spearmen. These spearmen have gone back and forth throughout the eco countless times and have yet to kill a Lycav. Oh, God. Now he's lost the farms. Get the spears, bro. Get the spears. I just can't help but feel like Vinch is just going to castle drop this TC. And if he castle drops the TC, Capoch is in trouble. All right. There we go. One of the Lycavs went down. So there was, what, 4? Now there's 2. These spearmen are waiting for him over here. Vinch is not going to expect those spearmen. And, all right. Another one goes down. Lycav were also underneath this TC, and Capoch killed it. And Capoch knows if he knows I'm here, he might try and pressure me. And so drops the outpost, and he doesn't see the siege workshop. See, if he sees that siege workshop, he buys a castle right now and places it and might complete it. But not knowing about that is horrible. Oh, man. Also doesn't know about this TC, but there's not a lot you can really do about that, right? Capoch goes to build another outpost, and now he sees the siege. So now can you justify dropping the castle, though? It's kind of tricky. Vinch's thinking about this. He'll kill the monk. I like this from Capoch, though. To bring the galleys over here is pretty important. And the castle's going up there from Vinchester. That is so good, man. Vinchester has played so good. He has actually placed the... He has actually placed the castle in a position where Capoch can't see it with the outpost. And he could see... he could see the castle from Capoch. And Capoch can't see his castle. Oh, no. Oh, no, Capoch. Oh, he has to delete it. And now he doesn't have the stone. And yikes. Vinch is just so good with the tiny details, man. And it's just been... Some of these moments have just been so unfortunate for Capoch. Like, the units getting in, unfortunate, but Vinchester made the most of it. And then that right there, unfortunate, but Vinchester also created the magic. Poof. So now, I mean, Capoch, he knows this is bad. And I think he's making the right call to come to this side. So, this gets interesting, right? Because he will see the TC. He will castle drop this. So, this might be bad for Capoch. But this isn't over. He can castle drop this and take this side from Vinch. Maybe. Vinch doesn't have anything over here. Vinch will see that. But Vinch can't deny it. But Vinchester will eventually take Capoch off of this golds. And Vinchester will just drop a castle here to plan for trebuchets for this. With how Capoch's day is going, these Lycav are going to get through. Just half a second behind in some instances, man. More Lycav are going to get through. The house wall wasn't down perfectly. And pretty soon, Capoch is going to find out he can't really take this gold because there's a castle there. And now, the Ghoulems are coming. Oh, Capoch noticed that. Capoch noticed that and wants an attack round. Some conversions come in. He will lose his siege. He will lose his TC, unfortunately. Big shot? Not really. But the siege should still go down. The TC still down. And Vinchester is in imp with most of the gold control locked down. Capoch has a castle here. He needs to fight on this side now. I don't... Like, you take as much gold as you can here, and you're happy with it. You don't fight for that now. You need to fight for this. Trebs are on the way. And Grand Trunk Road is on the way for Vinchester. But no chemistry yet. Watch the villagers try and escape, and they can't because the relic's there. Oh, wait, guys, the relic is gone. We get to see if the villagers can path that way. I think Capoch probably got the relic. No, he's coming back here. Okay, he's dropping the castle because he doesn't want to give up full control over this. Still a minute away from imp with 1 on gold and 2 relics to bring him gold. Not great. And Vinchester sees this castle. Vinchester will drop another castle to get close to Treb this down. And Vinchester will definitely take this castle down. Capoch doesn't even have the stone, unfortunately. Maybe a little questionable to place this castle, but I think at this stage it's kind of hard to question Capoch too much because so many things have gone wrong. Vinch actually cancels that castle. That's interesting. And he's instead going to place a castle here. But Capoch needs gold somewhere. The only gold he's mining is pretty much right on screen here. That won't last very long. And he does have a Treb coming. But he doesn't see this castle. Man, Vinch is really good at placing buildings right out of the opponent's vision. That's really hard to get right in game. It's just you have to have a sense for that. Capoch will see that, though. So Capoch could start to Treb that, which could be really nice. But now all the villagers here are going to be raided by Ghoulems. And they will be sliced and diced. And then there's also an opportunity for Vinchester to do the same in the main eco. And I just don't think Capoch can keep up with it, guys. He is adding some condos, maybe. But more units are going to be through into the eco. More to deal with. There's more villagers taking gold right there, actually, which Vinch could hit. And yeah, they are both focused on this Trebor at the same time. I think condos are a really nice choice for Ghoulam. So I don't question that. I think it should be good. Ghoulam is mainly anti-archer. And condos are also good against gunpowder. So, like, there's potential with the Civ matchup, for sure. There's also the Genoese crossbowmen against the camels. But Vinch just has such a good economy. And Vinch should be able to produce so much more. Vinch has so many Ghoulems. He can probably just outproduce the condos, even if the condos are better. Yeah, I haven't seen the fight that frequently, right? But the Ghoulems are not elite, and they're still doing more than enough damage. And now we have a bombard cannon from Vinch. Vinch is just too good on the day, guys. Too good. Too good. So good at getting a lead and keeping it. Like, he finds those... He finds some damage and just takes it all the way to imp. Look at that attack round. Between the Trebs, so it does damage to both Trebuchets. And... Oh, well, he loses the bombard cannon. Isn't that classic? Loses the bombard cannon. Capoch stays alive. Units are through over here because the Trebs took down a house. And Capoch drops the GG. Well played. Capoch will be in Gold League next season. But honestly, I know he got 3-0'd here. And you'll look at the scoreline and say, well, you know, he should have been relegated or whatever. And maybe that's true. I thought Capoch had a really good season. Thought he had a really good season. I think he was a couple wins, a couple moments away from getting wins in multiple games I can remember in the earlier rounds. And he will do very well in Golds, especially because I think he was like on vacation leading up towards this. So I think he'll be sharper next season too. Gold could actually be good for him to build up some confidence, rack up some wins. Vinchester, though, gets the 3-0, which puts, I mean, it does everything in his power to put himself into the playoffs this upcoming week. And what a performance from him. Super smooth. Again, at times, I feel like maybe he's not as fast as peak Vinchester, but once he gets ahead of you, you're just not stopping him. He seems to be really comfortable with how he views the maps. And I really liked his strategy. Again, he did open galleys, but then he just said, this map isn't about water whatsoever. I'm going to take the golds, control both sides, and win the game. So, what does that mean? Well, Vinchester wins 3-0. Vinchester goes up to 9 wins. Vinchester has a 31% chance for second, a 36% chance for third, and a 32% chance for fourth. And the sad thing for Vinch is Vinch can't control any of it anymore. So Vinchester just has to sit back and watch. He's got a 30-30-30 shot for playoffs or not. Well, I guess it's 60-30 for playoffs or not. So there's 2 more sets in the group. We got Dogao MBL, which is tomorrow. And then we also have Tato ACCM tomorrow. Now, in MBL's case, he needs 2 wins and he's playoffs. Okay. So 2 wins for MBL and he's second, right? And 3 wins, is he still second? Yeah. Okay. So MBL just needs to win the series tomorrow and he's in the playoffs in second place. Tato ACCM, probably winner there takes first, right? Regardless. Okay, 2 wins for Tato, 100% first. 2 wins for ACCM. Ooh, wait, no, that's not 2. Yeah, okay. So basically, whoever wins Tato ACCM goes top of the group. And then I guess the only thing there is like whoever loses between Tato ACCM could potentially be out of playoffs, right? Well, let's just maybe just look at the chances. Yeah, I mean, there's 11% chance Tato's not playoffs and a 6% chance that ACCM's not playoffs. So we have some interesting scenarios there. But this is actually as it stands right now with 2 sets left to go. That's pretty crazy, dude. That's pretty crazy. It would also be absolutely devastating for one of ACCM, Tato, MBL, and Vinchester not to make playoffs. So whoever that player ends up being, they will be very disappointed because they're playing amazing and they should do well in the playoffs. So, yeah. Why isn't Vinch number 1 right now? Technically, like if you look at Wikipedia, he's number 1, but he has no games left in hand. And so there's no way he can be first place because with ACCM, Tato, and MBL yet to play, someone will always pass him. Right? And so also MBL can't get first because MBL would lose the tiebreak against some of the other players. So I encourage you to mess around with the site if you'd like, but like if MBL sweeps, let's say, and wins 3-0, he will always be at the very least tied with ACCM or Tato. So best case scenario for MBL, someone in that series only gets 2 wins. If that's Tato, Tato's ahead on tiebreak. If that's ACCM, ACCM's ahead on tiebreak. So that's why MBL can't get first. But yeah, as is, Vinchester is top of the group with 9 wins. This is just showing the probabilities, right? And so the way the tiebreak works, I'll pull up Wikipedia because Wikipedia shows the live results, which is maybe better for some of you. So if you're tied on wins, because wins is all that matters. But if you're tied on that, it goes by set wins. And then if you're tied on set wins, it goes by head-to-head. And then in the rare instance where it's like a multi-tie and head-to-head somehow doesn't work, there's other requirements. So that's how it all works. But yeah, Wikipedia should have the updated results. Let's look at that real quick, guys. And then I'll talk about the schedule for the next few days. This is where we're at in these groups. Still haven't finished out all the groups yet. We still have more sets to play in every single group, but we're very close to the finish. We did 2 sets from Group B today. So we'll start with Group B. Group B, we saw Hera lock down first place earlier today. And then we also saw Barles, Classic Pro, and Veleza play their last games. Classic Pro and Veleza are confirmed out. Veleza brought Classic Pro down with him today with a 3-0. And then Barles got 3-0'd by Hera, but he's still alive because Classic Pro didn't get any wins, which is crazy. That's absolutely insane. Nikov Sato can still play, will still play. That'll be tomorrow, but it is likely Nikov is third and Sato is second. Nikov needs to win 3-0 to take second from Sato, and then in which case Sato falls to third. But they're both still playoffs. Group A, we still haven't seen any of the final round yet. We'll see that over the next few days. We've got Leary at the top with 11, Sebastian with 9, Yo with 7, Dragonstar at 5, Margugu at 3. So there's chances. And then Doubt at 1. Doubt is confirmed out. And the final series will be Doubt and Margugu, which is sick. Here's the sets, by the way. So Yo Leary, Doubt Margugu, Sebastian Dragonstar coming up over the next few. Group C, we already talked about it. Capoch should be confirmed relegated, but I guess he's not necessarily confirmed at which position. Maybe that'll change on Liquipedia, but Capoch and Dogao are out now. And so right now it is Vinch at the top with 9. ACCM and Tato will overtake that, though, or at least like one of them will. And we just talked about the probabilities, and then in Group D, we haven't seen any games yet. Final sets are going to be Viper Andy, Daniel Vallis, and Hart Dark. So Hart can take first place from Dark if he wins 3-0. Otherwise, Dark is first in Group D. And Viper cannot take first. It's actually impossible for Viper to be first. So Viper will go, if he makes playoffs, which is not set, but is likely, Viper will not get a bye to the quarterfinals. Viper will go to the round of 12. So pretty sick.